Good evening and welcome to the Greater Newark Conservancy Making Our City Bloom virtual celebration. I'm Toni Yates. I've been covering the news focusing on New Jersey now for nearly 15 years at WABC, and I take pride every day in bringing you the stories that especially take us to a greater appreciation of how we can touch each other's lives for the better. For the next hour, we promise to engage, encourage, excite, and inspire you about the Greater Newark Conservancy and the great work that they do to promote healthy living in Newark with their Hawthorne Avenue farm, their garden here on Spring Avenue, where we are tonight, and of course the reentry and community-based programs they created that have helped to change lives. As we get started, please pull out your phones, your laptops, and please donate. You'll see throughout tonight's program why your investment in farming fresh vegetables and fruit in Newark is a great thing to do. Tonight, we thank and hold very high regards to, of course, the Shipley family. The family has been one of the best anchors and supporters of the Greater Newark Conservancy. We lost Judith Shipley back in 2014. She dedicated her life to community service, blessing the work here for 25 years. You can get a taste of her legacy and the Conservancy's work by following on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you're celebrating at home the accomplishments of the honorees, please tag the Conservancy in your photos. So there's always one person in a group who is the leader of a cause and the captain of the ship. Please join me as I welcome the person who is the captain of the Greater Newark Conservancy and the farm and the garden, and who creates programs that change lives. She is the face of the Greater Newark Conservancy as their longtime executive director. For her, the Conservancy is not just a job or a career, it is truly what she believes in for the community. So please join me in welcoming Robin Doherty.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Making Our City Bloom virtual celebration. Tonight's event is different from anything we've ever done. To come to you virtually was definitely not on my agenda for this year, but we, of course, have found ourselves in an extraordinary time, and so we've had to respond with what I think is an extraordinary event to highlight who we are, what we do, and why we need you to join us in our work. Those of you who know us know that we have a gala every year to raise funds to keep our organization running, our farm, to keep it vibrant, to make our garden bloom, and to continue our reentry programs and internships and more. But the times are no longer about big galas. They are instead about how we sustain ourselves and serve people in an unprecedented way. It is often in times like this that you explore and find new ways to serve. What we found is that by becoming a key and lead partner in an emergency food distribution program, we've been able to distribute more than 500,000 pounds of food to Newark families. I want to thank CareSpark Consulting, Table to Table, Mayor Ras Baraka, Councilman at Large Louis Quintana, Council President Mildred Crump, Councilwoman LaMonica McIver, and Councilman Joe McCallum, and the Lincoln Park Coast Cultural District, and Rutgers University. When you think of the major corporations in Newark, one of those that comes to mind is Horizon, Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Please join me in thanking Horizon for their amazing corporate support of tonight's celebration. There's also a host of volunteer organizations like Jersey Cares and many individuals who cared enough to give up their Thursdays to pack food for more than 2,000 Newark residents every week for more than 6 months. This work, while conducted during and after the pandemic, is the work we do every day with our farm and our gardens. Our farm on Hawthorne Avenue in Newark South Ward is 3 acres of land with 130 fruit trees, 85 production rows, and 260 raised garden beds. Yes, all that right here in Newark. And don't forget about our Outdoor Learning Center garden on Springfield Avenue, where we are this evening. One of the things the pandemic has taught all of us is that access to fresh food, vegetables, and fruit are key to a healthy lifestyle. In addition to farming and gardening, our programs are about environmental justice and advocacy, job training, youth and family workshops, urban agriculture, and community greening. They're all key to creating spaces for people to learn, grow, and resume a normal life. These are the spaces we occupy, the work we do, and the commitment we've made to Newark and to the residents of this great city. I hope you will support us tonight so that we can continue to do the work I started out doing more than 21 years ago. Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Health has been a longtime partner with the Greater Newark Conservancy. Last year, we partnered to screen a movie about healthy lifestyles. The focus group, led by RWJ Barnabas Health, was insightful and helped to inform community programs here at the Conservancy. Thank you, RWJ Barnabas Health, and the President and CEO, Barry Ostrowski, for your support of the Conservancy and your generous support tonight. We want to give a special thank you again to the Shipley family. You are tremendous, and we are so grateful for your continued support and the love of the work we do and the help to change the lives we're impacting through the work. Thank you to our board, and especially our Development Committee Chair, Rachel Schwartz, who you will hear from later on in the program. In closing, I want to thank our honorees because you are all special. You care, and you are making a difference. Finally, thank all of you out there in this virtual land that we now find ourselves. With your help and donation, we will continue to serve the people of Newark and the surrounding area with fresh food, fresh vegetables, fruits, and sponsor programs that help to build lives to greater success.
Thank you, Robin. She's a real soldier for the Greater Newark Conservancy. Now, come in a little closer to watch this next video. It needs very little description. It tells the story of the work, the vision, and the mission of the Conservancy.
Greater Newark Conservancy was founded, like many nonprofits, on a little folding table in someone's living room, and a bunch of interested people who said, kids in Newark should have the chance to plant flowers and see beauty, not just concrete and asphalt.
People who walk through this door find some way to be involved, even if it's just walking around the beautiful gardens. There's a way to connect with nature and with each other. The organization started as a community greening organization, a neighborhood beautification.
We're a support system for kids who don't see any other options available to them. So even if it's working in a nonprofit or taking my position, right, is not making the most, but is actually having a great impact on the community, it's very fulfilling to myself and can be fulfilling to them if they want to work at it.
Edwin Ortiz, or Chino as we know him, came through our reentry program. You could just tell from the minute you met Edwin that he was somebody that was never going back.
I was convicted in 1986 and I was released in September of 2016. The crime that I committed was murder, and unlike stealing a bike, breaking into someone's house and taking their property, those things can be replaced. When you take someone's life, that cannot be replaced. It was my first job here at the Conservancy as a horticulturalist. I couldn't tell the difference between a weed and a rose, but they taught me the difference between a weed and a rose and compost and things, it was amazing. All the trauma, all the pain that I've caused in my community, all the damage, that I have to help repair it. I am part of the solution, for all the stuff that's going on in our community, because I help contribute to it. So it was very important for me to come back to Newark and be part of my community.
We partner with with several local organizations. They come and help pack 2,000 bags a week. Those food things are donated from table to table, but also some other organizations and groups that have a constituency that can take 100 or 200 bags of food, and then the food gets delivered to seniors and families who are in crisis. People thought, well, why are you doing something environmental in Newark? Having a healthy environment where people are eating healthy foods, clean air for people to breathe, clean water for people to drink. If you tied all of those things together, you could create a much more healthy city.
Right now, we're the best kept secret in Newark, and we don't want to be that. We want everybody to know about the great work we're doing here in Newark.
Welcome back, and as you can see from the highlights, the work of the Greater Newark Conservancy is changing lives. Join us so that we can do more by texting City Bloom to 50155. Board membership has its privileges and a requirement of time and often financial support, of course. At this time, I want to give a special shout out and a warm thank you to Greater Newark Conservancy board member Karen Wexler, a sapling sponsor to the Greater Newark Conservancy's virtual celebration. Prudential has also been a mainstay and corporate giant in Newark for many years. While Newark is their corporate home, you will find them in communities across the globe. But home is where the heart is, and that's evident with the programs and support they give to so many Newark and New Jersey-based community initiatives. So, what soothes the soul and warms the heart and is just as wonderful? Music. Please welcome a neo-soul artist whose unique sound is enlightening and engaging audiences across the country. Neo-soul violinist Bri Blvck and the Black Lights is here to perform for us. Wow, we're back. Oh my gosh, was that beautiful or what? Thank you so much, Bri Blvck and the Black Lights, for that amazing and stellar performance. You know, the Greater Newark Conservancy did something unique in these virtual days that we, of course, all find ourselves in. About a month ago, we had the honor of serving, or I had the honor of serving as Mistress of Ceremonies for the Honoree Awards luncheon for today's virtual celebration. The luncheon was not virtual, though. Instead, we held it at the Maplewood Country Club. We, of course, followed all of the CDC safety guidelines, and it was an intimate luncheon of about 25 people, and at the time, we presented the actual awards to the honorees. So what you're seeing tonight is the awards presentation, and it's from our September 16th luncheon. The results are videos from a great production team, and we want to again thank the presenters and the honorees for taking their time from their busy schedules to join us on what was an absolutely stunning, beautiful, perfect afternoon in September. And now the reason why we are here, to recognize our honorees. Our first two honorees are each part of two nationally recognized companies, one in healthcare, the other is a global insurance firm. We're honoring them today for how they have taken what perhaps started out as a job, but it transitioned into their life's work and a mission and a commitment to help others. Please join me as we honor Georgie Pinkney, Associate Manager in Culture and Engagement, Diversity and Inclusion, and Impact of Prudential Financial with the Joan D. Murray Volunteerism Award, and Mr. Louis LaSalle, Senior Vice President, Corporate External Affairs of Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Health with the Community Vanguard Award. Ms. Pinkney's award will be presented by Mary Puryear, retired program officer of the Prudential Foundation, and Mr. LaSalle will be presented by President and CEO of RWJ Barnabas Health, Barry Ostrowski.
Good afternoon. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to be here, not only in the presence of the Newark Conservancy that I funded and worked with for many, many years, but I recognize so many of you and your organizations, and it is good to see you again. Although I must admit, retirement was worth every day of work. So, I am here to present the Joan D. Murray Award to my friend Georgie Pinkney for her exemplary volunteerism. Working with volunteers and on volunteer projects was not only her job at Prudential, it's who she is. She deserves this award and so much more. Congratulations, Georgie.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so honored to be standing here today to receive the Joan D. Murray Volunteerism Award. Serving communities throughout Essex County has been a joy and a privilege that I am grateful for every single day. For those who know me, you know how passionate I am about volunteering. It is something that is woven into my DNA. My mother was a missionary for 40 years, and my dad served in the military. I grew up in a household where sharing was caring, and was told to lend a helping hand to those in need of all ages, ethnicities, classes, and religion. First and foremost, I would like to thank Greater Newark Conservancy, Robin, Michelle, the Board of Trustees, and the staff for an incredible job that they do. I am grateful that this organization has given me the opportunity to touch the lives of so many people in New Jersey, especially within Newark. It might have been a project at Hawthorne Avenue Farm, building planter boxes, assisting with installing an irrigation system, remember that? Harvesting produce, or mulching and weeding the grounds of the Urban Environmental Center. These volunteer projects, along with other programs that Conservancy offers, help build a thriving community. I would not have been able to do this if it were not for the support of Prudential. a great company that I was able to work for 30 plus years, and its wonderful associate who have been volunteering at Greater Newark Conservancy for over 50 years. As time passes and things begin to return to normal, please remember that more work needs to be done to help fulfill the mission of Greater Newark Conservancy of promoting environmental stewardship to improve the quality of life in New Jersey urban communities. Thank you so much for this award.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for me to be honoring my colleague and dear friend Lou LaSalle. I don't think anyone embodies a commitment to our community nearly as well as Lou has. I've known him for decades, and I have attended these events with Lou when he was an honoree or not, but in every instance, it was about our mission to make communities healthier. This organization is committed to the very mission that our organization is committed to, and that is to ensure everyone in the community has the kind of life that he or she certainly deserves and aspires to have. And one individual in my life that makes sure that he does something every day in pursuit of that mission is Lou LaSalle. And so for those of us who have been taught by Lou, those of us who have been guided by Lou, and those of us who have admired Lou, and there are many, many of us, we all take great pride in your having recognized him with the Community Vanguard Award.
Barry, thanks for the kind words and your continued support. It's extremely important to me. Many thanks to the Greater Newark Conservancy for honoring me with a prestigious award of the Community Vanguard Award. I'm truly honored that I'm among other honorees whom I know real well. And I just say they are the people that have done so much. Ryan, Rick, Freddie, where are you? I see you. And Georgie. God bless you. Keep doing the good things you're doing. Your spirit is incredible, and I'm privileged to be in your company. Speaking of the company, Barry, thank you again for allowing me to be the community person at RWJ Barnabas Health. Your support has and continues to be my inspiration. Your support has and again shows to me the shining light for our organization. And without you, we wouldn't be the same, and I mean that. There's so many things I'd like to say, but I want to, before I go any farther, thank you for your support. A quick thank you to someone that I know has to be thanked, because I forget her all the time and I always leave it to last. I say I'm going to do it first this time. That's to my wife, Marie. The best thing ever happened to me. I'm not so sure at certain times. But she enabled me to be the person that I wanted to be. Always behind, watching. Many times I try to bring her alongside of me rather than behind me, because she is the force. 2 sons, Michael and Stephen, I respect them for what they do. Their respect, their encouraging thoughts. I'm so proud of the 2 of them. Now I have to go back, and many of you will probably say, again, he's going to say this, but I'm going to say it again. I apologize. Many years ago, my mom, a widow with 4 children, she started the first chapter in my life. She said, work hard, be fair, show respect, get educated, and you'll be successful. Mom, thank you. She said, give to those who are less fortunate than you. And every once in a while I used to tell her, Mom, we're poor. She said, you're not poor. Give back to the community. And Mom, thank you for the great and long-lasting advice. To the Greater Newark Conservancy, I am so proud of what you do. The farm seemed to be the object of discussion today, and I'm so proud of what's happening there. Beth Israel started a small piece of land as a farm, quote unquote, but it grew, and thanks to Barry's leadership, not only is it the clinical side, but all the support, the social determinants transportation, food, name, education, all those good things. And Barry, keep doing it. It's wonderful. I think it's more now than I've ever seen that it is needed. I'm honored to be honored among the leaders, I say leaders in the community. Ryan, you, your group, Freddie, Georgie, your corporations, and PSE&G, Rick. We need the leadership at the top. Keep doing it. Be firm in what your commitment is. Keep doing it. I want to say thank you. It's been a great honor, and I've said enough. Thank you. Thank you.
At RWJ Barnabas Health, we thank you for all your sacrifices, for staying home, for putting off visits for the sake of others, for sending us food and messages to uplift our spirits. And we thank you, New Jersey, for trusting us to take every precaution as we safely welcome you back. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
And speaking of extraordinary and generous contributors to the Conservancy, please join me again as we recognize two members of the Board of Trustees as we thank them for their generosity as Sprout sponsors, Marilyn Faltz and Sam Huber, both of whom are familiar faces at the Conservancy for more than 20 years, get that, 20 years as board members and funders. At this time also, please join us as we explore and experience the Greater Newark Conservancy Hawthorne Avenue Farm that's located in Newark's South Ward.
My name is Mark Kearney. We are at the Greater Newark Conservancy, and this is the Newark Hawthorne Avenue Garden Farm here in Newark, New Jersey. When I first started, I didn't know anything about gardening. We had a reentry program that we were just cleaning lots, and our director, Robin Doherty, went to the mayor and asked if there were any empty lots that we could maybe begin to grow vegetables in, and they gave us this lot and another lot. That opportunity opened doors for me, and I was able to get back on my feet, meet new people, help other guys that were struggling, and it's just been a great opportunity for me. So when the volunteers come, they help me. We have 52 rows, and when you have different things growing at different times, they have to be pruned or watered. And sometimes when you're working by yourself, you're not going to be able to do it. That's what I love about doing this, just to see this stuff grow right here in the heart of Newark, in the belly of Newark. You got this oasis of vegetables and flowers. It's beautiful. I love it. My life has been so rich. I'm having fun with the little stuff. Just the little stuff excites me. So every day is exciting for me. And I love meeting people. So you have people who come and I always tell them, even if you're half an hour, you made a difference here. I don't care. I have some people come and they'll just sit in one of these chairs. I kid you not. They'll come to volunteer and they'll sit. But they don't understand. They just made my day. When you're working and then you look back and you see that person enjoying the peace, that makes your day. That's why we do what we do.
There's just something renewing and invigorating about being out in nature and watching things grow, right? Welcome back, everyone. I'm Toni Yates from WABC News and your hostess for this evening. Are you enjoying this evening's virtual celebration? I certainly hope so. And in case you didn't know, we are hoping that with your help, we could raise about $200,000 for the Greater Newark Conservancy this evening. So there is still time to give. Speaking of vegetables, fruits, and natural ingredients, we have with us today another treat, a global champion for fresh food and the farm-to-table movement. He's also a huge success on the back end of food, preparing delicious cuisine. In fact, Chef Marcus Samuelsson is famous for his restaurant, the Red Rooster in Harlem, And now you can experience his artistry right here in Newark at his restaurant, Marcus B&P. So please welcome Chef Marcus Samuelsson.
What's up, Newark? What's up, everybody? I'm super happy to be here to do this cooking demonstration. My name is Chef Marcus Samuelsson from Marcus B&P, right down the street in Newark. Cooking, food, you know, we need that. We need to break bread during times like this. During COVID, it's been one of the things that I've gone to and with my family at the dinner table, making food with my son, making food for my extended family has really been something that has given me a sense of calm and purpose. And I think that in times like this, anything that brings you joy and familiarity, you should be doing. I also want to take this moment to thank Newark Conservatory for all the things that you do for our community to keep Newark one of the most exciting urban areas in America, but also on the East Coast, of course. You know, we have so many different amazing things going on, even in tough times like this. And as people are figuring out the new normal, can't wait to see what 2021 is going to be. The other people I want to thank is the incredible staff and people in the hospitality industry in Newark. During this time, we served collectively 500,000 people, first responders and the media. We did together with Audible, with our cat, Michael B. Jordan, Newark Work and Kitchen. Everybody came together. And I think it's moments like that when you see the best of us. You know, when people are going through toughest time, you see the best of everybody. So I'm really proud of that initiative. And it was also an initiative that I went and talked to other cities about, that, hey, in the toughest time, we can step up as communities. And I'm really proud that we did that. 500,000 meals during this COVID pandemic. As someone that's been cooking all my life, I always go back to food in tough times like this. You know, we also having obviously a big conversation around race and identity during this time. So cooking food that fits the narrative of the Great Migration, so it's something that we celebrate, whether that's in Marcus B&P, Red Rooster Overtown, Red Rooster here in Harlem. So here I go. So I'm going to do a succotash, and you know, I start with onion, garlic in the pan, just get that good searing off. And I'm also going to start with some cherry tomatoes, right? Jersey tomatoes, nothing better than Jersey tomatoes, right? Season it, salt and pepper, and I kind of starting on high to medium heat. Doesn't have to burn, but you want that char. You want that, when you get a good char and sear on something, that's when the flavor starts to come out. I also start with these beautiful Sea Island southern beans. You have white beans, you have red beans, these are the white beans. Beans like this, it's not complicated at all to cook. You get good raw beans. I soak them overnight. Then you just simmer them for 1 to 2 hours. Let them sit in this liquid. Let it sit for another 1 or 2 hours. But yeah, that sounds like a lot of time, but it will simmer away, right? And once you have them, they will work for a really, really good, really good time. These are beautiful. They have so much flavor and texture, right? And the succotash is all about textures and celebrating the seasonality, the season you're in. So just doing that. And then when you think about New Jersey, which really have so much of the produce that comes into New York every day really comes from Jersey, right? All the New York chefs, we use Jersey products all the time. Sometimes New York chefs, they don't want to admit it, but there's more produce coming from Jersey than Long Island in terms of food and produce. So I got my beans, I got my garlic, I got my onion, just cooking that up. Then adding in some okra, and the okra will do two things, right? You get great pop in terms of color, but it also will thicken it. There's a natural starch in okra that will thicken your succotash. So I'm not using flour, I'm not using anything else, I'm just using okra. And when you get okra like this, you get some color on it. I mean, when you think about food, right, what we all can taste, we can taste the same. Salt, you have that. Sweet, we get that naturally from a corn. Sour, right? So I'm going to add that with some lemon or lime juice. Bitter, all the vegetable has that. Parsley and banana in, okra has that. Umami is going to come in through when we're charring this off. Umami is really a big part of this dish that's going to come out naturally from the onions and searing this off, right? So sweet, soft, sour, bitter, heat. You know, it's not a lot of heat in this dish. Of course, you can add in chilies, smoked paprika to add those. But how a dish like this becomes a side dish or really becomes part of that portfolio is really through its texture. And a dish like this with the beans and the okra, it's all about texture. I'm going to add in some fava beans. Again, gives me tons of texture. I brought some fresh parsley. This can be parsley, it can be parsley and mint, it can be parsley and cilantro. I'm just going to rough chop it because I want it to be broken down just a little bit. Just rough chop it. And then just fold that in like that. Boom. Right? And there were some great moments, although 2020 has been obviously a very, very rough year for everybody. One of the cool things that happened in Newark this year was when Amazon and Michael B. Jordan collectively came together and did the launch, the drive-in launch of the show, of the amazing film Coming to America. I think that happened late August. So there's been moments like this that we've been able to celebrate each other, although it's been an extremely difficult year. And I think it's important to have moments like that, to take care of one another. And one of the best ways, right? We're going into a obviously very heated political election. We're going into, you know, God forbid, this second spike or second season of COVID. So I want everybody to be very careful and love up on your loved ones and, you know, really care about each other. I love compassion. And food is one of the things that can do that, right? You set a table, you break bread, you settle your differences as a family, as a community, and the restaurant community, hospitality community, we always think about it through that way, right? In the happy business, we want you to be happy and come back to us. Look at that. So this is, once again, our succotash, which is really a basket out of New Jersey. You have corn, you have great tomatoes, some onions, some okra, and some beans. So, thank you, Newark Conservatory, for everything that you do. Thank you for thinking about me. From all of us at Marcus B&P, thank you so much to the whole Newark community and supporting us as a restaurant, and also big shout out to the hospitality community in Greater Newark area. Collectively, we served 500,000 meals. We did that to first responders, to the media. Very proud of it. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you, Chef Samuelsson. You guys at home, when was the last time you received a free culinary lesson from a world-class chef? That was great, wasn't it? Well, thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. You know, PSE&G is a general supporter of the Greater Newark Conservancy. Their sponsorship has supported many of their programs over the years that serve the community. So PSE&G, we thank you so much. And thank you to PricewaterhouseCoopers for their support of tonight's program and the work of the Greater Newark Conservancy. Gasillon Pamaco PC are here tonight too to support Mr. Carballo and to also support the work of the Conservancy. Our next two honorees are experts in the field of law. Both are law school graduates. One is a practicing attorney. The other is using his legal know-how to help a major corporation be a powerful partner within the community. Both are serving the greater good. So please join me as we honor former Assemblyman Wilfredo Carballo of Gasillon and Pamaco PC and corporate board trustee for Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Health with the Diane Schwartz Founders Award, and Richard Thigpen, Senior Vice President, Corporate Citizenship, Chairman, PSE&G Foundation, with the Shipley Family Award for Philanthropic Endeavors. Presenting to Mr. Carballo is the president and CEO of the Clara Moss Medical Center, Mary Ellen Klein, PhD, where Mr. Carballo was also a longtime member of the Board of Trustees. And presenting Rick Thigpen is Maria Spina, the PSE&G Foundation Program Manager.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon to everyone. Congratulations to all the honorees. Delighted to be here in all your company and to hear all the fabulous things that you all have been doing. I am truly, truly honored to be here with Wilfredo, as I know him as Freddie Caraballo, who really has been a beacon of hope for me and for our hospital through Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Health. I'm so delighted that Fred is being honored by this organization for the Diane Schwartz Foundation Award and all the impact that Fred has had for the residents of New Jersey regarding environmental issues. But above and beyond environmental issues, which are so important as we talk about the social determinants of health and what we stand for, his work that he has done, when you look back and reflect on Fred's past, really has been incredible. And how he's been a voice for people who have not had a voice, how he's fought for the right things, for the right reasons, and to make a continued impact in the lives of the residents of New Jersey. His commitment to children, his mentoring, he's a servant leader day in and day out, and his willingness to always want to give back is truly incredible. Fred is the first person on the Clara Moss Medical Center Board of Trustees to represent our Latino Hispanic community. We had created a Center of Excellence for Latino Health because we wanted to ensure that we were being culturally competent and sensitive to our Latino Hispanic community members that we served each and every day. And Fred was the first person at the table to be with us, to join in, to make sure we were doing the right thing for those we serve. I want to thank Fred for his dedication on the board to Clara Moss Medical Center. Greetings from our board chairman, Bob Gassione, who could not be with us today, to also honor and congratulate Fred. And Fred is also the first Latino member on the Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Health Corporate Board. So I want to thank Fred for giving of himself, service to others, and especially for this award recognition today on environmental issues, which is so important for the residents of New Jersey. If I could bring up Fred, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. You know, the Conservancy for me is a family affair. My eldest son, Nico, worked for the Conservancy for a couple of years as a grants writer. My youngest son actually worked during college, during the summer. I could spend hours listening to his stories about how he headed up a small group of young high school kids who were selling fruits and vegetables on Springfield Avenue. And the stories that my son has to tell about that experience, I think would make anybody laugh, but me as a father, very proud. So it's a family affair for me. Robin, thank you so much for this award. You know, Robin represents to me the ideal person that we are all striving for in our society. Someone who looks beyond race, beyond ethnicity, beyond gender, to bring people together for a common cause. And that common cause is not limited by the nature of the work. The common cause is reflected in the work because it's a part of a greater cause. I've always been honored to be a friend and for your friendship. Thank you. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be here. It is a moment in our history where so many things are going on that we sometimes lose sight of the good things that happen to us in life. working in my pajamas from home kind of makes you a little bit tainted about the things that are going on. But I'm very hopeful. As long as there are organizations like the Institute for Justice, as long as the Prudentials of the world support our endeavors, as long as the Rick Thigpens of the world represent the PSENGs of the world, so long as people like ex-Governor McGreevey are out there fighting the good fight, we have to keep hope and we have to appreciate the things that we do. You know, I look at Lou and I remember the number of times that we met, sometimes on the golf course, Lou, sometimes in the hall just to talk about some issues that he cared about and he was pushing in the legislature. I am one of those people that is a little bit depressed by what's going on in our country right now, but I'm also one of those people that I'm thrilled to death to know that there are people like you that are fighting the good fight. And as long as we fight that good fight, you know what? We're going to win. We're going to win. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It is so wonderful to be here with all of you today, and I'm honored and pleased to be able to present the Shipley Family Award to Mr. Rick Thigpen. Although this person needs no introduction, I'd like to say a few things about him. He is a father, a husband, and an executive at PSENG, a truly inspirational leader in many ways who is very passionate about doing good for others, both inside PSENG and outside. He has mentored countless young people over the course of his career, and he is by far a historical buff, one that I think can pretty much know anything, facts about Newark, New Jersey, and many other history. He's a man with a sense of humor that can light up a room. His leadership is evident every day, especially in his deep commitment to causes such as environmental and social justice, equity, and equality. Most recently, he was instrumental in approving a $1 million commitment for philanthropic support for powering equity and social justice, an initiative that will focus on addressing racism and advancing social and economic equity for people of color. Anyone who knows him knows that he is filled with gratitude, honor, and respect, acknowledging our differences and diversity. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to recognize Mr. Rick Thigpen.
So good afternoon, everybody. Obviously, thank you, Maria, for that very kind introduction. And thank you, Robin, for the award. So Fred talked about it. Ryan talked about it. We're obviously in a very interesting moment in 2020 in our country. And who'd have thought that a company whose job is dedicated to providing safe and reliable electricity, I've learned, has so much more of a responsibility in these tricky times. And I really want to accept this award today as the chairman of the PSEG Foundation. It's a great honor. And I really admire the Greater Newark Conservancy. And before I go there, Robin, I should admire the other honorees. Georgie, it's nice to meet you. Lou, I call Lou the new guy on the scene, who it's always a pleasure to learn from him. I certainly I want to say some very kind things about Fred Carabaya, a man who I admire enormously, who had the very perilous job of perhaps being the smartest man in our state legislature, and it made him lots of enemies when I saw him operate down there. And Ryan Haygood, I want to say something very special about Ryan. Everybody should check out his socks, please. But it's certainly august company to be a part of today. So I really admire the Greater Newark Conservancy, and Governor McGreevey's not here. I admire him for preaching the gospel of reentry, and I admire Robin for practicing what Jim preaches. And not only do we have environmental stewardship, which is so important to a company like Public Service, which is about energy, but it's about helping people and making Newark a better place. And I can't think of an organization that really tries to live with that spirit any better than the Greater Newark Conservancy. Even though Robin's a Red Sox fan, I'm going to out her to everybody in the room. So we are living in very challenging times, and it is time to build bridges and to understand our differences. And it's a struggle for us to achieve equality, and people like Robin, as Fred talked about, are a key to that struggle. Because we are going to have a better country, and we are going to have a better world by being together. And this journey is one that is only going to work by going together. So it's really a privilege to see that a foundation called Public Service is able to help do good things in the community. I remain committed to that mission. I remain committed to the Greater Newark Conservancy, and I really just want to thank you all for honoring Public Service Foundation today. And I look forward to seeing all of you on the battlefield on the struggle that Ryan is being such a leader on. So thank you all very much.
Again, congratulations and thank you to the honorees. But you know what else? Thank you, all of you virtual supporters out there. Because of you, we are doing a very good job tonight. We've already raised $161,000 because of you. We are closer to the goal of $200,000. So please continue to donate. It tells us that you believe in what the Conservancy is doing. Again, thank you so much. More music? The neo-soul sounds of Bri Blvck is one you will remember for a long time coming. Please welcome back singer, songwriter, and hip-hop violinist Bri Blvck and the Black Lights as they join us here in the Garden for another musical performance. amazing, not only talented, but she's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, yes, she is. And you know, she likes to volunteer to help out the community as well. She was here packing food to distribute to the community.
Wow, that's beautiful. And she's volunteered her time and her talents for tonight's event, so you can't get any better than that.
Do you think it's too late for me to take up the violin?
Never too late for anything.
I now have the pleasure of saying a few words about the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice and the Nelson Mandela Freedom Award. The Nelson Mandela Freedom Award is being presented this evening to someone who stands on purpose and principle. His integrity, character, and work represent the tenets of our work here at the Conservancy. When you hear his name, words like justice and advocacy and truth and urban youth and families come to mind. And any way you look at it, our work is intertwined because of these words that we share as our guiding principles. We actually have a coveted space here at the Conservancy called the Nelson Mandela Garden to serve as a constant reminder of his work, mission, and giving back so that others can grow and prosper. That is what the Nelson Mandela Garden represents. The original award was designed by Newark artist Jerry Gant, a true master of the arts and a wonderful human being. After Jerry's passing, we decided to continue with the award, and we were fortunate to find someone who worked closely with Jerry and knew the significance of his work and the genesis of this award. This sculptor is brilliant in his own right. His work is exhibited across the country, but the great thing is not only his work, but that he is also in New Jersey. We want to thank sculptor Jerome China, who designed, and I have to say this, the perfect piece to represent Nelson Mandela, to represent the work, the institution, and the individual receiving this award tonight. Please welcome presenter, supporter, and great friend of Greater Newark Conservancy and the Institute for Social Justice, former New Jersey Governor Jim McGreevey.
First, I'd just like to underscore and give my gratitude to Robin and to the Conservancy. You know, I see my dear friend Mary Ellen here from Clara Moss and a number of friends, but part of making a community is having the right level of mission and values. And the Conservancy for many past years has been responsive to Newark, to the people of Essex. And so for the over 1,500 individuals from the New Jersey Reentry Corporation that went through the Conservancy and that continue to partner, I just want to say thank you. So thank you for understanding that we all don't start the race of life from the same place. We all don't have the ability to have a loving family and an educational system and the support network. But that doesn't mean we don't have promise in the eyes of God to fulfill that potential. And so that brings me to the person I have the great privilege of presenting this award. You know, when you think of Nelson Mandela, you think of truly, for me, one of the seismic figures in the history of humanity. But what Ryan has done with the Institute is remarkable. The Institute has become the thinking place, the intellectual engine for criminal justice reform in this state. That's worth applauding. And so whether it's expungements, or whether it's voting rights, or whether abolishing the ugly legacy of No Early Release Act and returning some sense of discretion to the bench, whether it's partnering with organizations such as the Conservancy or major corporations such as Prudential and Panasonic and RWJ Barnabas, you need a place where people are thinking. So in every community, you have that young person with a vision of God willing what is possible. Lincoln called it our better angels. And so it's a great honor to present this award to Ryan on behalf of the Institute of Social Justice. If you want to hold this.
Good afternoon. It's so good to be here. Thank you, Governor, for that incredibly gracious introduction. I'm moved by it. I'm also moved by this beautiful award. You can see that there are bars, and the bars are bent by someone reaching through them to pull the person to freedom. And I'm inspired by that because I think that so shapes the reality that we're now in. The way in which the criminal justice system has played an outsized role in our communities. And our charge really is to seek liberation for our brothers and sisters ensnared in the criminal justice system. So I thank you, Governor McGreevey, for your friendship, for your inspiration, for that generous, beyond generous introduction. And so thankful to Robin, her team, and her board of trustees for thinking about the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice with this award, named after one of the greatest fighters for liberation this country has ever known, who you all know spent 27 years in prison in South Africa in a small cell because of his views around what South Africa should deliver to its people, the freedom, liberation they should get in their own country. And he emerged, right, as we all know, to be one of the greatest liberators the world has ever known. And he emerged inspired to do that work and ultimately ascend to become the president of his country. And so I think about this particular moment in the life of the Conservancy, which has been the real heartbeat of the city of Newark for more than 30 years, 22 years under Robin's leadership, and how it's had to pivot in this moment to respond both to an emergency and think about how you build systems to protect against future emergencies, the way it's transformed to serve people food who would otherwise not be able to eat, but how it's also partnered with organizations like my own to look at the cracks in our foundation and then to do work to literally fill in the cracks so that when the next pandemic comes, we'll be on more solid ground. So I talked to Robin and Governor McGreevey about 2 years ago. We were looking at the phenomenon of people coming home from prison who were on probation or parole and didn't have access to the franchise. They began to realize while incarcerated that they were not only kept away by bars, but they had left communities, mothers, fathers, wives, husbands, cousins, kids, loved ones, and those communities were being deprived of the right of their vote. That if they could vote, they would cast their ballots in their home communities in a way that would strengthen the entire community. And so we launched a campaign called 1844 No More, Let Us Vote. And the campaign was tied to the number 1844. That was the year in New Jersey when New Jersey restricted voting to white men only and deprived people with criminal convictions of the right to vote. And so we launched a statewide campaign to make New Jersey 1844 no more. And it was because of our work with the Conservancy. It was because of our work with a statewide coalition of people that last year, at the end of the year, December, Governor Murphy signed a bill that restored the right to vote to 83,000 people on probation and parole, a number nearly the size of our capital city of Trenton. And then just last week, because of our collective advocacy, New Jersey passed a bill providing online voter registration. So New Jersey now has a chance for folks to register online, and 83,000 new people can be added to the ballot box. So I lift that up because we are in this moment, a painful but yet precious moment, and we're ahead of one of the most consequential elections in a generation, to put it charitably, right? And we have a chance to fundamentally shift the thinking, the policies, the practices of the systems that we live under through a sustained effort to bring more people to the ballot box. The Conservancy is critical to this. Just as was mentioned, this last Saturday hosted a voter registration drive, which is now made easier by online voter registration. And the Conservancy stands out as a bright light for an organization that has been bending Newark, been bending community, bending neighborhoods toward community. So I'm thankful for this award, thankful to be here with you all, and let us together continue to bend our neighborhoods toward the beloved community. Thank you so much.
Amazing, sensational, right? Well, my time is just about up as your Mistress of Ceremonies, but your time is not up to continue to support the Greater Newark Conservancy and the farm, the garden, of course, the community programs. So please take this time to make your donation and to encourage your friends, your family, others to do so. To donate, text City Bloom to 50155. Again, it's been my honor and pleasure to serve as Mistress of Ceremonies today. And in closing, I'm known for getting on a soapbox from time to time. I always like to say, each one should reach one, should teach one. We are still one nation. At this time, I would like to turn the program over to the chair of the Development Committee, Ms. Rachel Schwartz, who will close with this evening's remarks.
Wow, it has been a tremendous night. When we started this journey nearly a year ago, we never knew what was in store for us. Then came COVID, shutdowns, loss, hunger, strengthening of the social justice movement. Everything has come to a head and set us on a different trajectory than where we were 1 year ago. We will never change our mission, nor the reasons why we were created. But what this time has done is to make us focus more on how we can better serve the people of Newark. And while there are some things we still do not know, there are some things we do know. We do know that food insecurity is real. We do know that fresh vegetables and fruits are the lifeline to a healthy lifestyle. We do know that we stand in a unique space in Newark and can build upon what we have done with your support. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. I want to also thank our special guests, Chef Marcus Samuelsson, violinist Bri Blvck, and of course our gracious host, Toni Yates. Toni started this evening saying that she believed you would be engaged and excited and inspired by the work at Greater Newark Conservancy. I hope tonight's program has inspired you to support our work. Please text City Bloom to 50155 to donate to Greater Newark Conservancy. Thank you again for coming tonight and for your support of our work, our vision, and our mission.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for giving. Thank you for caring. And we hope you have a wonderful evening. Good night, everyone.
Good night.